Well, before there was a Carol Merrill fondling refrigerators on The Price is Right, or a Vanna White turning letters on the Wheel of Fortune, there were the Sirens of Chrome, the beautiful ladies of the auto show. Author Marjorie Krevsky's fantastic book, Sirens of Chrome, The Enduring Allure of Auto Show Models, celebrates these iconic ladies. Marjorie is here to tell us about her book and the Sirens of Chrome exhibit that's debuting this weekend at Sacramento's California Automobile Museum. Thank you for coming on the show. I was really excited to have you come on because this is definitely a book that I would have in my own home and on my own coffee table.
Most people say that. It's the great love affair we have with cars.
Well, and I love that you chose this as your subject because, number one, I've never seen this before in my life. Nobody's ever done anything on these
it's
ladies.
The first book about the history of the women, mainly women, who stood beside the cars since the conception of auto shows in 1900. So it's like over a century of automotive marketing that is so fascinating.
Do you have any car fondling in your past, Marjorie?
Well, my first car was a VW, and I called it Archie, and it still is my heartthrob.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so what led you to write this book?
Well,
I'm
from a suburb of Detroit. Detroit is known as the Motor City.
Yeah.
The Detroit area, Dearborn, Michigan, is where Henry Ford started the assembly line. So when you're from that area, automobiles kind of get in your blood. And also I started a business about 30 years ago, supplying talent, models, talent, product specialists to the auto shows. And as auto shows grew, so did my interest and involvement.
Well, and I wasn't lying. I mean, the spokesmodels who we're so interested in, or who we've seen since what, maybe the 50s on game shows and stuff, they weren't the first ones. These ladies go back to when?
1900, believe it or not.
1900.
1900. The first recorded auto show, and there's a real fight between New York City and Chicago where the first auto show was. And from the first auto show, you know, the one thing about cars is, what if you went to an auto show and all you saw were cars? It's the very unique complexity of the relationship between a car and human beings. So you have to have a human being beside the car.
Well, and a pretty, knowledgeable woman next to a car doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt at all. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We've got some pictures from your book.
Right. This one is an historic picture from 1916. The two women here are Alice Burke and Nell Richardson. And these were the rock stars of 1916. The car is a Saxon, and the Saxon Motor Company dreamed up a marketing event. Let's have these two ladies by themselves drive across the country from New York to California, 10,000 miles, and on the way they were the darlings of the press and media. Of course, they didn't have TV at the time, but every newspaper
ran those photos. Now look at this.
1927, the Marion Morgan Dancers were a group of modern dancers who traveled across the United States to auto shows, and also they went to London and performed at an auto show in the Great Palladium there. So that was pretty international. 1950s, and this was at the Detroit Auto Show. Yes. A very attractive young women in different kinds of costumes, from an Audrey Hepburn-esque costume to Marilyn Monroe. There's a cowgirl in there, each reflecting what the car represented. 1950.
Look at that leopard interior.
This is a Cadillac debutante concept car.
So why not put a debutante in it?
Why not? The only car of its kind ever created, but it's very politically incorrect because there are over 100 Somali leopard skins that line the interior.
Today we'd be going faux.
Oh, we'd be going big faux.
Yeah.
And then here is one of my favorite Sirens of Chrome, Cary Grant in a BMW Isetta. And this was taken in France. The picture was taken in France.
I just read the autobiography, or the biography of him, of her life with him, her daughter.
Oh, yes.
Jennifer Grant, and she talks about that car in that picture.
He loved that car. And now we go back to the beginning of automotive. This is 1900, one of the first auto shows. They had a contest. On the right is a car. On the left is a bicycle, and they had a contest to see which would win because there were many horse-drawn carriages and bicycles. Those were other competitive modes of transportation. So they had this contest, and you know, sometimes the car won.
Now, Marjorie, let's go from the pictures to a real life
This is
person
Joyce.
here. Who's your guest?
Yes, and she is from the Sacramento area.
Okay.
She is a nationally traveled product specialist with the auto show, and she is wearing a truly historic, spectacular dress. In the 1980s, Bob Mackey, the designer, designed for Cher and all of her great programs. Well, one of his proteges, Naeem Khan, designed for the auto shows, and this was designed for Pontiac for the Firebird series. And at the California Automotive Museum, they have a Firebird with a Firebird motif on the hood, and I looked at it the other day. It matches it perfectly. You see where the design
Well,
came
she
from.
looks gorgeous in that gown.
No kidding.
My gosh. Okay, so tell us, the exciting thing is an exhibit is coming to the California
Begins on
Automobile
Saturday.
Museum here in town.
The 23rd will be here through September 25th. And the pictures that you showed, and many, many other pictures, they document the history of Sirens of Chrome with cars. So you're going to see pictures of cars and attractive people, mainly women, beside them, and then little historical snippets about what happened, because it's a great American history.
Awesome. Marjorie, where can we get the book, Sirens of Chrome?
You can get it at the California Automotive Museum or also on Amazon.com.
Okay, and there it is. Thank you so much, Sirens of Chrome.
Thank you.
I know where I'm going to get my copy. All right, thanks so much for coming on the show.